fabulous.
Roll up for the greatest Mythbusters show on Earth. How could a rat up a drain pipe, a roasted toy raccoon, and a sharp-dressed dummy turn into a disaster area? Take your seat as we ride the Raccoon Rocket.
In 1998, in Carbon County, Pennsylvania, apparently some good old boys, from the sounds of it, were hanging out on their porch, drinking beer, and they saw a raccoon go by, and so they all opened fire on it.
So they noticed that the raccoon's taken refuge in a drainage pipe. So one of the smart fellows goes over to the drainage pipe and he pours gasoline down there and he tries to light it.
Unsuccessful at doing this, one of them decided to go down into the pipe to better light the gasoline and get the raccoon out, at which point the gasoline actually did ignite and it shot this guy out the tube at a high rate of speed.
He goes shooting straight out of this pipe and he flies about 200 feet right over the house and falls and manages to get up relatively unharmed.
Well, it sounds like we have all the information we need to proceed. What is the plan? Have you got a plan?
Well, we need a big pipe, I guess a sewer pipe. It's got to be 20 feet long, 3 feet in diameter. We got to have 5 gallons of gasoline. We have to have some means of igniting it safely from a distance.
I have one more question about this.
What's that?
Which one of us is going to get launched from this pipe?
Well, you, of course.
You know, much as I'd like to do it, it sounds to me like it's a job for Buster.
Buster is the silent partner of the Mythbusters team, a long-suffering crash test dummy.
I am making a new knee for the crash test dummy. We have busted him up so fully that both of his knees are completely shattered.
Weighing in at 180 pounds and standing 5 foot 10 inches tall, Buster represents roughly 95% of the United States adult male population. His role is to behave just like a human would in extreme situations, something he excelled at for many years when he crashed cars for a living. Since joining the Mythbusters, he's been through hell and high water, all without a word of complaint.
Well, what's next in line for Buster is to put him in a 3-foot pipe with a bunch of gasoline and maybe even gunpowder and see if we can launch him like a cannonball.
Before Buster becomes a cannonball, Jamie and Adam need to find the cannon. That means a trip across town in search of some monster drainage pipe.
Hi, I'm Jamie.
Andy.
Adam,
Nice to meet you guys.
how you doing?
Oh, pretty good.
I think we're here to pick up some really big pipe.
It's a pipe lover's paradise.
What's this stuff normally used for?
Storm and sewer drain, mostly storm water.
Bingo! Storm water drains, 3 feet wide. Exactly the kind of drain a terrified raccoon and its boozy pursuer might stumble down. Adam tries it out for size.
Oh, that's pretty cool. You know, it makes me want to, like... Okay. All right, that's enough of that.
After a peek at the pipe, Jamie's mustache is twitching.
It's all a whole bunch of stupid stuff.
The more he thinks about this wild raccoon chase, the more he thinks it's the truth that's gone down the drain.
The biggest problem that I see is that you can see that I fit pretty easily in this pipe, and there's a lot of room around me, a lot of air room. And so even if there is a big blast, all this air is just going to go right past me if there's no seal.
Thank you. This is one of the rare occurrences where Jamie and I agree all the way down the line on this. He's right. It's the problems are myriad. The myth is almost patently ridiculous just on its face.
But when there's a hint of flames or explosions in the air, the Mythbusters will make it happen.
I think one way or another, we are going to propel that dummy quite energetically out the end of this tube. I don't think it's going to work quite the way the myth says, though.
Let's bring on this raccoon.
Back in the workshop, Adam creates a remote you won't lose under your couch.
I've got this lighter rig, which we've used before on Mythbusters. It lights a lighter remotely, and in the past I've always used cable, like bicycle cable, and it's never been quite reliable. So this time I'm going to actually go with a small pneumatic cylinder, which will go and light the lighter that way.
This will let him light the gasoline in the pipe from a safe distance.
It works. Excellent. So, it is the world's most complicated lighter.
Now, fully recovered from knee surgery, Buster needs to be dressed for the occasion. This stylish woolen sweater and slacks outfit will protect our dummy from looking unfashionable and save him from melting. The fabric of choice for firefighters and Formula One drivers, wool is one of the most fireproof fabrics you can wear. It does not melt, and it does not support a flame.
Yeah, you know, I don't think Buster's ever looked so fashionable. I mean, dude, you are looking sharp.
Time to grab a $25.98 toy raccoon and put this myth to the test. Our firing range is an abandoned airfield on the outskirts of San Francisco. Job number 1, get that pipe into launch position. For this, our boys will need a nice new toy.
I think this is the biggest thing we've driven yet. Very, very, very cool. Yeah.
But does anyone know how to drive this thing?
So did you get any instructions on it?
I did not.
A few quick tips from the backhoe delivery man, and Adam is an instant expert.
This goes side to side to side. You can drop this pin in the center,
Okay.
and it'll
Lock it.
yeah, it'll lock it from going like this. That was fun.
I'm gonna back it up a little bit more.
Yep.
It's like a secret escape hatch. Woo!
You know, he's taking an awful long time to do this. I think he's having just a bit too much fun.
Finally, our cannon is in position.
Well, we've just covered the pipe with dirt, and so I guess we're gonna pour some gasoline down there and light it with the dummy in the tube. We pretty well know that nothing's gonna happen.
We'll get a big whoosh of gasoline out of both sides of this tube, but besides that, it's not going to launch this dummy in any way.
The stunt is ready. So where's the fall guy? For extra fireproofing, Buster gets a dressing down with a special flame retardant gel.
Okay, so we're gonna shove him about 3 feet up in there.
Yeah, feet first, because his head's got to be down, like he scooched down the pipe with a lighter and was like, you know, that kind of business.
The scene is set exactly according to the myth. We have one not-so-smart man, Buster, who's crawled down a 3-foot-wide drainage pipe, chasing a raccoon.
Like that. There we go.
Like this?
Yeah.
The raccoon's probably all the way at the very end, you know, up against like a steel grate or something like that. So he's probably like right here, trying to be as threatening as a raccoon soaked with gasoline can be.
Okay.
Let me get my automatic match.
The Mythbusters team gets ready for launch. Cameras will cover it from every angle. Sensitive equipment is protected by a bulletproof plastic shield. A baby fire truck is at the ready. And it's Big Daddy, just in case.
Excited, we're gonna blow some stuff up, then we go home.
Now, Jamie adds the final element, 5 gallons of gasoline.
Okay, it's kind of a lot. Oh, it's kind of really a lot. It's a lot of gasoline pouring out of there.
That's it.
That's it. All right, get out of there. Okay, here we go. Standing over here with me, Jamie?
Yeah.
In 3, 2, 1.
0. Nothing happens.
Tell me if you see it lighting.
Yeah, I don't see any Any flame?
Seems that pesky raccoon slipped down onto the lighter. He's repositioned, and we are clear for launch.
Okay, here we go. There we go. We have ignition. Put it out now. Go. Well, that wasn't nothing at all.
Nope.
That was like a little campfire.
Well, it probably would have set the whole tube on fire after a while. It singed the heck out of our raccoon.
Let's see how our raccoon did.
That's one piping hot toy raccoon, all right. But not much else, and certainly not enough to satisfy the destructive desires of these two strange men.
The myth is, in fact, busted.
But there's always two parts to a Mythbuster story. There's replicating the myth, and then there's duplicating the result. And we replicated the myth, we got nothing. Now it's time to see what it takes to launch him out of that tube. I think we're gonna have to go back to the shop and think this one through. It's not trivial to turn this 20-foot long tube into a human cannon. We can't just put gunpowder behind him and hope it'll launch him. It's just gonna blow him up.
Back in the shop, Jamie's mind contorts around a devilish conundrum.
We pretty well know that the dummy's not going to get launched out of the tube, you know, just by sitting there. So we've got to put a container around it that actually remotely seals the dummy in the tube.
He needs to make a tricky device called a sabot. In the world of weaponry, a sabot is used when a specialized bullet or projectile is too small for the barrel of a gun. The sabot fits around the bullet to seal the chamber so the blast from the gunpowder can send it firing out of the barrel. It's hard enough remembering how to say sabot. Now, Jamie has to work out what to make one from.
That's about 2 feet, so darn, that tube's big. It's gonna make me work.
What about stretching a car inner tube around that and inflating that and squeezing that between a couple pieces of ply?
These two professional problem solvers go into the Mythbusters mind meld.
Put two of them around there and then they gasket to each other. We fill them just up enough.
Stretch it out onto there. We could probably
Back
put
it, I'd say, with one piece of ply.
around that would make a fairly
Side.
dense thing.
Suppose it's just like 4 gaskets of ply.
Out of the brain blender comes a juicy plan. The sabot will be molded from foam.
Oh, Jamie, that's beautiful.
Easy as pie. But, usually things don't work this easy.
35, geez, you're within a quarter inch.
Yeah, seems like it should be perfect. So without this thing, gases would just go past the dummy and not propel him. With it, it blocks the chamber, and hopefully it will carry the dummy with it out of the barrel. The sabot will fall away in its 4 parts as we've designed it, and the dummy will continue on his trajectory.
Let's hope the plan stays on target, because back on the firing range, we are now working with dangerous explosives.
Second circuit, just to the end of the tube here, and then if we have a problem with the first circuit, we'll just tie into this.
Sounds good. So I'll tie this on first.
Yeah.
We want to fire a 180-pound projectile 200 feet. So, how much gunpowder will we need? Well, in World War II, the guns of the mighty U.S. battleship Missouri used 660 pounds of explosive powder to launch 2,700-pound projectiles with a range of up to 23 miles. There are no records of raccoons being present on the USS Missouri.
Back up on the backup. Preparing to launch.
John McLeod normally creates pyrotechnics for Hollywood films. Today, he's cooking up a different kind of blockbuster.
We're using 10 1-pound cans of the GoX black powder. That should give us a pretty good bang.
Buster is locked in the sabot and loaded into the pipe.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
Oh, baby.
Okay, we need a little more push here.
All right, here we go.
Okay, ready? That's good, right?
Well, that's tight, huh?
That's pretty good.
Cue the bomb.
So that's the 10-pounder, isn't it?
It's a 10-pounder.
Don't look like much.
Until it goes off.
The local geese are heading south to safety.
You think they can tell we're about to blow something up?
John will use an electric detonator to ignite the powder. With the wiring all checked, it's time to seal the end of the pipe.
Look at that. That's perfect. All right, I'm going to bury it.
The pipe must be plugged to direct the force from the blast towards Buster and send him out the other end of the tube. Will it work? That's in the lap of the gunpowder gods.
I think the worst thing that could happen was it would rupture the back end of the tube and maybe shoot dirt and sand and possibly little rocks.
It's also, I'd say, 50% likely that it stays back there in the tube and the whole thing just blows up. That's totally acceptable to me as well.
The whole damn thing could blow up for all we know, but our best shot is that it's going to come out of there, and it's going to come out really fast, and it's going to look really cool.
Jamie is so confident, he's parking Buster's wheelchair right where he thinks he'll land.
Jamie, you hoping to catch him?
Yeah.
All right, that's about the most optimistic thing I've ever heard. If you catch him, I'll give you $100.
Okay, let's put this Big Bang Theory into practice.
You got some? You want to put some protection on there?
I think I'm all right.
He thinks he's all right.
In 3, 2, 1.
Oh my God!
I almost made the chair.
You almost made the chair.
We've got two very excited Mythbusters on our hands.
He survived. Buster survived. Oh. Woo.
Came out there with some horsepower.
How you feeling, buddy?
It worked absolutely perfectly. I was off by about 5 or 10 feet.
Buster heroically executed a textbook superhero-style exit from the cannon.
Oh my God.
You know, I got to say, I think we planned this whole thing really well. The sabot worked. He did launch a significant distance out of the barrel.
The myth says 200 feet that the guy lived. I tell you, watching that dummy land, there's no way he would have lived at that distance, let alone that distance again. This myth is just, complete and utter lunacy to think that it's true. Well, Buster, how you feeling, man? What do you think? Raccoon rocket, true or busted? What do you think, Jamie?
I'd say it's pretty effectively busted. You know, we would have died if we'd been in Buster's place, that's for sure.
Man, he is a little worse for wear.